Short recap for you guys today. The Pelicans lose, unfortunately, to the Golden State Warriors on national TV, one of their two national TV games this season. Let's look at the highlights. Let's look at a couple positives and talk about where this game went wrong. I think it's kind of obvious. So I want to start off with, obviously, the thumbnail, the title of this video, Saddiq Bey. For those of you that have been paying attention to the last 4 or 5 games for the Pelicans, Saddiq Bey has been on an absolute tear. He just missed out on the double-double this game. He was at 3 consecutive games with double-double with rebounds. We'll take a look at his stats. I'll put them up here on the screen. And I want you guys to focus on a couple things that I'm seeing here. Obviously, he's averaging about 20 points a game over these last 4. His rebounds have been incredible, averaging 10-plus rebounds a game. The part to me that is really jumping off the page is his assists, steals, and blocks versus his turnovers. So obviously assists, getting your teammates shots, steals, getting a possession for your team, blocks, potentially getting a possession for your team or a defensive stop. So over the last 4 games, while he's been, having his best stretch of the season, coming back from obviously a trade in the offseason, injured all last season, over this 4-game stretch, he has only 2 turnovers. And if you do a little bit of counting, he has 13 assists, 7 steals, 2 blocks, and 2 turnovers, which is just awesome. Like, a huge positive when he's out there on the floor. He's kind of one of those guys that doesn't seem to care about momentum when he's shooting. And what I mean by that is sometimes an opposing team will go on a run, and it just looks like the Pelicans can't do anything right. And when a player takes a shot, you're like, there's no way they're going to make this. They have no momentum. It just feels like they're not going to make the play. But Saddiq Bey, he doesn't hear all that noise. You know what I mean? He is just a hooper, and he kind of can swing the momentum the other way and for the Pelicans, in the Pelicans' favor. That's just, I have no stats to back that up. That's just the eye test. He did it in this game when Jonathan Kuminga hits a 3. The momentum seems to swing in the favor of the Warriors. And then he comes down, matches them with another 3, and stops that little run. So I've really loved what I've seen from Saddiq Bey, obviously, over the past 4 games and truly throughout the entire season so far. I'm a little concerned because he's doing so well that it feels like the Pelicans are going to have to make this decision of should he be a piece of this team going forward, because they're pretty deep at the wing position. It feels like they have guys they want to start over him, and he would be loved by most teams in the NBA. Like, it feels like he could end up being a trade asset at the deadline, which I'm starting to feel like, let's just keep him. You know what I mean? Like, I know you could probably get something in return for him. He's only 26. Like, he's a young guy. I know he looks like he's 35. Like, physically, he's a big man, but he's only 26 years old. Like, he's a young vet almost, and it feels like he could be a great mentor for the young guys. He's soft-spoken. He talks about God in almost all of his interviews. He's just a humble guy. He's had some of the biggest trials that a pro athlete can have, right? And he's missed an entire season with injury and more. So overall, I just really like him as a person, as a player. But that means other teams are going to be calling about Saddiq at the deadline. I've already seen articles from other teams being like, hey, he'd be a great fit on the Spurs. Let's get him over here. Things like that. So I'd be interested to see how that pans out. Second story of this game is injuries. Let me tell you who the Pelicans had in this game. Here's the injury report for the Pelicans this game. Jordan Hawkins out, Herb Jones out, Carlo Makovich out, Trey Murphy III out for this game. Sounds like he's got a sore right elbow. So we'll see what happens there. DeJounte Murray obviously still out, and Jordan Poole still out. This injury has gone longer than Zion's, it feels like. So when are we going to start seeing those guys back, like Jordan Poole, Herb Jones, Trey Murphy? It's kind of up in the air at this point. And the depth was really lacking in this game, and the offensive weaponry was really lacking in this game. Really, for both teams, Golden State really struggled as well. They'd had no Steph Curry, with no Trey Murphy, no Jordan Poole, a bunch of your kind of outside weapons, your shooters. The Pelicans really struggled. They shot terrible from 3, like in the 20s. I think it was like 23% or something like that. And luckily, the Warriors also shot terrible. They were not even at 30% either. They were like 29. So it really came down to those last probably 3 or 4 minutes where the Warriors just ended up hitting shots and the Pelicans couldn't get a shot. So a few games now where it's come down to kind of clutch minutes and the Pelicans have squandered it. I really don't like how the offense looks when it gets down to these clutch minutes, because they view Zion as a get a bucket any time of day guy. But when it's super predictable, like they know they're swinging the ball to Zion and he's just going to take 2 dribbles, back someone down, and then swing left and take a layup, it's really easy to stop him. And we've seen that in the past few games. All in all, Zion closing the game, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he's a closer like that, even though he had that game-tying layup last game to go to overtime. It was a bunch of missed ones before that and a bunch of missed ones in overtime. I might have to loop some of the game footage because I'm talking too much, but I have one concern with Zion right now, and it's the same concern people are having with Ja Morant. Off-court stuff aside, Ja Morant is struggling on the court, just playing within his team right now because he's taking less and less shots at the rim. He's not able to get to the rim as much as he used to. And it's because of his freakish athleticism that we know from Ja Morant is starting to diminish over time. And he's really becoming less and less effective on the court as a player from, what looked like one of the best guards in the league a few years ago. I'm a little bit worried about that same thing happening to Zion. We already know he's injury prone, right? And when he plays, he looks good. But since coming back from this hamstring injury that kept him out a few games early in the season, and really just this entire season has actually been his least efficient that he's been in his career. But especially since the injury, he does not look as dominant as he has. He had one good game that I covered, right, where he had 29 points. But I'll tell you, defensively, man, it makes me want to rip my hair out sometimes when I see him with, like, the worst closeouts on shooters that I've ever seen. There was a really, really bad one against Dallas the other day to give Najee Marshall a wide open 3. Maybe I'll put that one up on the screen as well. His defense is genuinely so atrocious. And I was defending him defensively a little bit, like, 10 games ago, because he was really active in getting steals. But he has just not looked the same since coming back from his hamstring injury. He's just not as mobile, maybe. So, great game from Saddiq Bey. Zion played okay. Couldn't close it down the stretch for the Pelicans. Injuries are piling up, and it's really hurting what this team's ceiling is. And I'm not going to count these ones against Coach James Borrego because what's he supposed to do? He had Bryce McGowan's in the first, 3 minutes of this game. But just the lack of depth at this point with so many people out. They called up Trey Alexander from the G League. They didn't end up using him in this game, but, we might see him in the next few games, depending on what's going to happen in the injuries. So that's it for this game. I appreciate you guys as always. We did hit 300 subscribers. Let's freaking go. You guys are the best. We've got another game tomorrow night against the Lakers. So, red hot Lakers, by the way. We'll see how that game goes. Is Zion going to play? It's the second night of a back-to-back, and he hasn't been playing those. And without Zion, I expect a dismal offensive performance from this team, because who's their best scorer? Probably Saddiq Bey. It's probably going to be Saddiq Bey if nobody else is playing. So, hopefully we see a lot of Jeremiah Fears, Derek Queen in that game. Mike Capivi. Please like this video, subscribe, consider subscribing if you haven't already. Comment down below your thoughts on Saddiq Bey. Do the Pelicans keep him? Do they end up trading him? Let me know. Appreciate you guys so much. Peace.